Hey guys, this is pharmacist Curtis Alexander. In this video, I want to talk about the migraine medications that are available on the marketplace, go over them, and kind of break down what may be the best option for you and your doctor to talk about. So when I say migraine medications, what I'm referring to is the new group of medications called the CGRPs. And those are really the injectable medications. They're taken at different regimens, but usually monthly, to try to prevent migraines moving forward. So I'm going to cover the 4 medications that are in this particular group, and again, it's something that you can talk to your doctor about what is the best option for you. So starting out, I'm going to cover some main areas. Number 1, how they act. We'll discuss side effects. We'll look at dosing. And then I'm just going to give my overall opinion of each of the medications. So let's start with Aimovig. Aimovig was the first injectable medication to hit the marketplace, and probably the most popular, I would say. The biggest difference with Aimovig versus the others is how it acts in the body. Dr. David Dodick, hopefully I'm not murdering his last name, but he gave the analogy of a lock and a key. CGRP can involve the actual key going into the lock or the lock itself. So the lock being the receptor or the key being the ligand. Basically what that means is that with Aimovig, they're essentially blocking the lock, versus our other medications all act on the CGRP process, just like Aimovig, but they work on the key. That's our analogy. So that's one place where Aimovig differs. Now, as far as side effects, they're all tolerated really well, but the one thing I have seen with Aimovig, and when it happens, it tends to be severe. And I've got videos covering each of these medications in detail. I think each of them at this point, but that may be one of the reasons why, if we see a side effect with Aimovig, it's constipation. And if we see it, it tends to be very severe. Usually if people get constipation on Aimovig, they have to stop it, move to another medication. Now the question comes up, does it make sense to switch to one of these other medications if they're all CGRP blockers? It does, because again, remember, these other 3 do act in slightly different ways. They affect the key rather than the lock. And so we have moved people to these other ones and had them not experience constipation. So it's an important difference to notice, but overall, they're tolerated pretty well. As far as dosing, Aimovig is once a month. It's just 1 shot every month, subcutaneously, so it's not a deep injection. It's pretty easy to give this injection. And as far as my overall opinion on Aimovig, I like it. It's popular. It was the first to hit the market. It tends to be the most used for that reason. If there's a side effect, it's constipation. It's bad usually, and you can't continue with it. So that's my overall take on Aimovig. Now, the next one is Emgality. As I discussed, Emgality does not work on the lock. It works on the key. The downside to Emgality, in my opinion, is its dosing, because it is 1 injection a month after the first month. The first month you have to do 2 injections. It's called a loading dose, the same day. So if you say, I'm going to start on a Wednesday, you do 220 milligram injections to equal 240 milligrams. After that, it's fine. It's equivalent to Aimovig, but the first month dosing can be a bit of a bummer because you're doing the 2 shots. So 2 shots right away, and then it moves to 1. So that tends to be a downside of Emgality. Once you get past that first month, it's good medication. I tend not to see as much of the constipation with Emgality. Again, the only downside is that first month of dosing. The next one is Ajovy. Ajovy is also, all these are subcutaneous. These first 3 are subcutaneous injections that you give at home. And so they're great that way. I like Ajovy. One of the reasons I like Ajovy, it acts on the key. So I don't see as much constipation. I've still seen it. It just tends not to be quite as high. So the side effect profile is pretty even. It is just once a month dosing. You start out with 1 injection a month, just like Aimovig. Ajovy has the added benefit is it has 2 different dosing regimens you can use. You can do once a month, 1 injection a month, subcutaneous, or you can elect to do 3 injections, and do it quarterly though. So you're doing 3 shots on day 1, but then you don't have to give another shot for another 84 days, another 3 months. So that's something to think about, and it tends to give a little broader coverage. So if you're the type of person that if you do monthly injections and you find that 26, 27 days out, it's starting to wear off, you can do the 3 injections, the quarterly dosing, it will extend that out. So that's one of the advantages in my mind of Ajovy is the dosing, so something to keep in mind. Finally, we have Vyepti. Where Vyepti is different is this is an infusion. So it's IV. You have to go into the infusion center, wherever that may be for you, get the infusion. And so it's a little more problematic from a dosing perspective because you have to go in to do that. The good points are the side effects are pretty minimal. It's tolerated very well. Again, it acts on the key rather than the lock. We talked about the dosing. That can kind of be a negative but also a positive, because even though it's an infusion, you only have to do it every 3 months. You don't have to do it every month. So overall, I like Vyepti. I just tend to reserve it for people who aren't good candidates for at-home therapy. Maybe they struggle with technique, or they've failed some of these other things and we want to try giving them an infusion. So hopefully this was a pretty good overview. All these medications, I've seen success with all of them. I didn't mean to harp on the constipation part with Aimovig. I think I see a little more of it because Aimovig is popular. I see more Aimovig used. So I don't think you can go wrong really with any of them. Again, we tend to start these 3 because they're subcutaneous, they're at home, versus going with something like Vyepti, an infusion right away. But all good medications. But hopefully this kind of breaks down some of the pluses and minuses of each of the medications and what might work best for you. So if you have other video topics you'd like me to cover, let me know in the comments. I try to look at everything as I do more videos. It's harder for me to keep up, but I do look at them. So please let me know in there. I hope the video was helpful. And again, if you want me to cover something else, let me know in the comments. Till the next video, thank you.